The Whispers of Dyrhólaey, Iceland's haunted cliffs. Dare to listen? The wind carries secrets on the cliffs of Dyrhólaey, secrets that chill the soul and whisper of a past best left undisturbed. Are you brave enough to uncover the truth behind the screaming stones? The towering cliffs of Dyrhólaey, a sentinel against the unforgiving North Atlantic, hold more than just breathtaking views. For generations, the people of Vik have whispered tales of eerie sounds emanating from the basalt formations. These aren't the cries of seabirds, but something far more unsettling. Locals speak of wails carried on the wind, sounds that defy explanation. They are neither human nor animal, but something trapped between worlds. These chilling echoes have earned the rocks a haunting name: the Screaming Stones. Legends paint a grim picture of the stones' origins. Some say they hold the tormented spirits of shipwrecked sailors, forever reliving their final moments. Others believe they are the result of an ancient curse, a punishment from forgotten gods. The truth, shrouded in mist and fear, remains elusive. In the summer of 1893, Dr. Elias Thorvoltzen, a historian with a passion for Icelandic folklore, arrived in Vik. He was drawn by the chilling tales of the screaming stones, seeking to unravel the mystery behind the haunting sounds. Elias, a man of logic, dismissed ghost stories as mere superstition. Yet his fascination with Icelandic folklore compelled him to investigate the unsettling legends. He sought to find a rational explanation for the phenomena, determined to separate fact from fiction. Little did he know, he was about to confront a reality that would challenge his very beliefs. Elias sought out the wisdom of the village elders, listening intently to their stories. They spoke of fishermen swallowed by the waves and shepherds who vanished near the cliffs. One woman, an aged seer named Gudrun, offered a chilling warning: "The stones remember, the past is never silent." Undeterred by the ominous warnings, Elias planned a nighttime expedition to the cliffs. He was convinced that he would find a natural explanation for the sounds, a scientific answer to the supernatural claims. He prepared for his journey, unaware of the darkness that awaited him. Under the pale glow of the moon, Elias and his assistant Arni began their ascent up the rugged path to Dyrhóley's peak. The air was thick with the scent of salt and damp earth, a primal aroma that heightened their senses. As they approached the first basalt formation, a low murmur drifted through the wind. Arni, skeptical but undeniably uneasy, gripped his lantern tightly. The flickering light cast dancing shadows on the jagged rocks, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that unseen eyes were upon them. The whispering grew louder, morphing into distinct, agonizing words that filled the air. The voices were unlike anything they had ever heard, devoid of life yet filled with immeasurable suffering. Elias, his rational mind faltering, reached out and pressed his hand against the nearest stone. The rock was warm, unnaturally so, as if it held a burning ember within. Suddenly a sharp, wailing cry erupted from within the stone, piercing the night's silence. Both men stumbled back in horror, their hearts pounding in their chests. The sound was a raw, visceral expression of pain, a sound that would forever haunt their dreams. The next morning, shaken but determined, Elias delved into historical records, seeking answers in the dusty pages of the past. He unearthed accounts of a tragic event from the 14th century, a dark chapter in Iceland's history. A fleet of Norse seafarers, falsely accused of witchcraft and heresy, had been sentenced to a gruesome death. They were bound in chains and thrown from the cliffs into the raging sea below, their cries of innocence lost to the wind and waves. Some stories claimed that the condemned in their dying breaths had cursed their executioners, vowing to make their suffering known for all eternity. The more Elias read, the more he began to believe that the legends of the Screaming Stones were rooted in something far older and darker than he had ever imagined. The stones were not merely echoing natural phenomena, but resonating with the pain and anguish of the past. He realized that the curse of the seafarers was not just a legend, but a tangible force that continued to haunt Dyrhólaey. The weight of history pressed down on him, a heavy burden of sorrow and injustice. He knew he had to find a way to break the curse, to bring peace to the tormented spirits. Driven by a sense of responsibility, Elias sought Gudrun's guidance, hoping to find a way to appease the restless spirits. The seer revealed that the only way to break the curse was through the ancient ritual of remembrance, a ceremony steeped in tradition and folklore. The ritual required an offering, something of personal value, to be left on the stones. Along with the offering, a chant in the old tongue, the language of their ancestors, was needed, asking the spirits to find peace and release. The ritual was a delicate balance between the physical and the spiritual, a plea for forgiveness and reconciliation. On the eve of the summer solstice, a night when the veil between worlds is said to be thin, Elias, Arni, and a small group of villagers ascended the cliffs once more. Each carried an offering, a symbol of the lives lost to the sea and the passage of time. A fisherman's net, representing the livelihood of the village, a child's wooden toy, a reminder of innocence lost, and a Viking coin, a relic of a bygone era, were among the items brought to appease the spirits. As Gudrun led the chant, her voice resonating with ancient power, the wind howled violently, and the stones trembled beneath their feet. For a moment, the cries of anguish peaked to an unbearable crescendo, a symphony of sorrow that echoed through the ages. Then, as suddenly as it began, silence descended upon the cliffs, a profound and unsettling quiet. The air was still, the wind no longer carried the tormented cries, and the stones stood silent as if holding their breath. From that night onward, the screaming stones fell silent. The villagers no longer feared Dyrhólaey after sundown, and the cliffs became a place of beauty and tranquility once more. Elias, forever changed by his experience, continued his work, documenting the event as a testament to the power of history and remembrance. He wrote extensively about the ritual, the legends, and the impact the experience had on his understanding of the world. He hoped that his work would serve as a reminder of the importance of honoring the past and seeking justice for those who had been wronged. Yet, despite the apparent success of the ritual, Elias found himself plagued by doubts. What if the silence was only temporary? What if the spirits remained, waiting for another opportunity to make their presence known? He couldn't shake the feeling that the curse was merely dormant, not broken. Determined to ensure that the past had truly been laid to rest, Elias remained in Vik for another year, conducting further research and speaking with more locals. He sought to uncover any remaining secrets, any lingering traces of the curse. He discovered an old manuscript hidden in the village archives, a fragile document written by a 16th century monk named Brother Leifur. The text spoke of a secret society within the church that had attempted to exorcise the spirits centuries ago, but had failed miserably. Their efforts had only strengthened the curse, making the screaming stones even more tormented than before. The manuscript warned against interfering with the spirits, stating that some wounds are too deep to heal. Elias realized that history often repeats itself, and if the ritual had not been performed correctly, the curse could return with even greater force. The monk's words filled him with a sense of dread, casting a shadow over his previous success. He knew that he had to be vigilant, to watch for any signs of the curse returning. He dedicated his life to protecting Dyrhólaey, ensuring that the spirits remained at peace. Years passed, and the legend of the screaming stones slowly faded into history, becoming a distant memory for most. But one fateful night in 1932, a fisherman named Halldór claimed to have heard the screams once more, shattering the illusion of peace. He had been caught in a storm near Dyrhólaey, when he swore he heard voices rising from the waves, pleading for release. The voices were filled with despair, their cries echoing the torment of the past. The villagers dismissed his account at first, believing the tale to be nothing more than drunken ramblings. But when another fisherman vanished near the cliffs days later, they began to wonder if the curse had truly been broken. Fear gripped the village once more, and the whispers of the screaming stones returned, haunting their dreams. The disappearance of the fisherman served as a grim reminder of the power of the curse, a testament to the enduring pain of the past. The villagers knew that they had to act, to find a way to appease the spirits once and for all. A new group of scholars arrived, eager to investigate the renewed claims of haunting. Among them was Magnus Thorvoltzen, the great-grandson of Elias, carrying the weight of his ancestors' legacy. He had grown up hearing the stories of his ancestors' work and was determined to prove, once and for all, whether the legend was real. He felt a deep connection to Dyrhólaey, a sense of responsibility to uncover the truth behind the screaming stones. With modern recording equipment and scientific methods, he set up camp at the cliffs, hoping to capture the voices on tape and analyze the phenomena with a fresh perspective. Magnus and his team spent weeks studying the stones, using sound equipment to analyze the echoes and reverberations. They recorded strange frequencies, sounds that did not match the natural elements of the cliffs. The sounds were unlike anything they had ever encountered, defying explanation. Some voices were faint, whispering in languages long forgotten, their words lost to time. Others were more distinct, crying out in anguish, their pain echoing through the ages. When Magnus played the recordings back, he realized that some of the voices were repeating the very words Elias had written in his journal a century earlier. Could the spirits be aware of their attempts to communicate? Or were they merely echoes of the past, trapped in the stone, forever reliving their torment? The question haunted Magnus, driving him to seek a definitive answer. Determined to end the mystery once and for all, Magnus enlisted the help of modern-day spiritualists and historians, combining ancient wisdom with scientific rigor. They performed a new ceremony at the cliffs, this time using both ancient rituals and modern scientific methods, hoping to bridge the gap between the physical and the spiritual. As they chanted, their voices resonating with a blend of ancient and modern languages, the winds howled once more, and for a brief moment, the cliffs seemed to tremble, as if responding to their plea. Then, a deafening silence fell over the landscape, a profound quiet that held the weight of centuries. The recordings taken that night revealed something chilling, an unmistakable voice whispering in Icelandic, "Thank you." The voice was clear and distinct, filled with a sense of peace and gratitude. It was as if the spirits had finally found solace, their torment finally coming to an end. From that night on, the screaming stones of Dyrhólaey remained silent, their cries finally put to rest. But those who stand upon the cliffs, gazing into the endless sea, sometimes feel as though they are being watched, as if the past still lingers, just beyond the veil of time. The cliffs of Dyrhólaey stand as a testament to the power of history, a reminder of the enduring impact of the past on the present. The whispers of the screaming stones may be gone, but the echoes of their story remain, a haunting reminder of the importance of remembrance and reconciliation. To this day, travelers who visit the cliffs may still feel a shiver in the air, as though echoes of the past remain, but the anguished wails have faded into legend, a ghostly whisper of what once was. The cliffs stand as a silent sentinel, guarding the secrets of the past and offering a breathtaking view of the present.